Okay, good afternoon and welcome to the IC session about the database. So we're going to see the database system again a little bit. So we have discussed previously what is the database management systems in two forms. What is that manual system and the electronic system. So manual system and electronic system we have discussed. And so if you refer this data, so what is data means? The data is a stream of raw facts, right? So information means it's a data shaped into a meaningful form. You just convert this data into a meaningful form, right? Then if you look at the database, so its database is a kind of what? It's an organized collection of related data and information. So we have data as well as information, but in this database we have what? A collection of related, which is related to data and information in a one place. Right? So data is always available in the database. Okay, right? Then we have discussed some of these also, and if you take the what advantages. So first of all, we have what the reduce the data redundancy. So how it is data redundancy? So we can see reduce duplication. You can see here. So there are Nimal. He's repeating here this table, and here you can see right. So the numbers then those are repeating right. Then the next one we call the control data inconsistency. So what's that? So you can see the same name, this same thing when you get two entries in the same data. Now here different there, right? So it's a problem of that. So it's avoid that, right? Then the next one is what we discuss about the facilities to sharing of data. So example, if your file is asked by someone else in the school or in the from the account division or some other divisions in your section, so we can share it. Okay, facility to share. Different users can share the same data, visualizing it in their own way. So that you can see this table. You can see student ID, student name, address, and telephone number. If someone wants from this table, I want to have student ID and the student name, you can take it. That's the one way to visualizing. So I can want this data only. But someone will want what? Their student ID with their telephone numbers. So you can see in the next table. So it's the way. Now this is the one way of viewing, another way of viewing for a particular user. Right? So you can see this student, this database we have shared. So shared once it want, we can take it the data whatever the way we wanted, right? Right? Filtering and we can take it, right? Then next one, it's called the enforce standard. So it is what we make standard. So what is a standard? You can quality, you can take the quality, you can increase when you do that time. Then you can sort it out, then you can filter that data, whatever you want from the standard. Then from the you can analyze those data, whatever that you wanted in that. Okay, so enforce the standards of the data for your in a table. Then next one, what? Ensure the data security. So you can say password protected and avoid physical damages. Physical damage means like we have any fire, any tsunami, any earthquakes. We can protect from that. Then so next one we call the maintain integrity. So we can keep our integrity, right? Maintain, we can keep it. Right. So what is the definition of the database management system? Right. So this is the one definition. So generalized software package for implementing and maintaining a computerized database. So we call that the database management system. In short form, we call what? DBMS. If someone wants, you can take down the notes. Okay. Or we can continue that. Okay, so please, if you want some special points, you can take down, right? Right. So this is database management system, the definition. So these are the questions in your papers. We'll ask what the database management system means, or the defined database management system. Okay, so DBMS, so generalized software package for implementing and maintaining computerized database, we call that. So what are the actors in the scene? So who are going to use this system? So who are the people we use this one? The first person we call the DBA. Okay, DBA means database administrator. Okay, right. So he is the person who create this database in your system, and he is the person who maintain. He's looking at the this structure, whether it's working, is there any attack for the database there, so any errors there. So he's the person who has the main role to do. So he has all the access to the database in the system. So if there's a system in the school, so he has all the access to that, to the employee, those things. We can monitor them. Okay, then the database designers. So who will design this one, the structure, what is the hierarchical one you want, whether you have a different one. Then the last one we have the called the end users. So end users means what? Who are the we are going to use? So people who use, those are called end users. Okay, right? Right. The next one, okay, so actors are those. There are three persons, DBA, and so DBA, then the database designers, and we have end users. So there are three, right? So three actors on the screen on the database. So we have those, the DBA and database designers and end users. Okay, we'll move to next one. Okay, let's see what are the types. So in your book, they have not mentioned these types. So if you think this is important, you can take down in your book or in a paper, right? So we can see there are different types. There are 4 types of databases, right? We have first one we call the hierarchical. So this is the hierarchical structure looks like. So you can say under parents, we have child 1, child 2, child 3 like that. So it's like the hierarchical structure if you take that one. So it's the hierarchical structure. So then the second one is the relational one. So that is the database we are going to do in your book, right? So relational one is that. So if you have this relation, it's related. So you can see the student entity, and you can see the course entity or the course. So it's connected. So how it's connected? It's flow or it's follow. Okay. So student follow a course. Okay. Or the course may have many students. Okay. So student follow a course, right? If you go this way, then if your next one say the course may have many students. Okay, so that is relation. So it's related. Now these student course are what? Those are the tables we created, and these are links or the relationship we created from these things together to make it that. Okay. Then the next one we call the network type. So it's like a network, network we have discussed. So the same way this network interconnected. So each table is interconnected. So this might be a one table, this might be another table, this might be another one, this might be another one, right? So likewise, we can see this network is connected, right? So this is the network type database, right? Then the last one we have, fourth one, we call the object oriented. Object oriented. So object oriented have the class name, and the methods. Okay, what are this one? And the ways we want to that attributes. Okay, so we can say student object. So this is a one, they will develop the student one separately, course one separately, teacher one separately. This object oriented. So you will learn this object oriented database when you go to higher studies, or you want to when you join the universities and higher studies in the future, right? So that's right. So this is the one. So but according to your syllabus, you have to do the relational one. Okay, right? So we move to next one. Okay, what is this relational database? So, so based on the principles of relational mathematics. So it's based on relational mathematics to this database structure. So we have this type database to be discussed. Okay, so this is the database. Okay, right. In a relational database, it's collection of related tables. We can see it's collected. So it's collection or the it will interchange or the it will interconnect this table. You can see table 1, table 2, table 3, table 4. Likewise, those tables are interconnected inside this database. So this database might be your this is school database or maybe library system or maybe employee details or the employee of a company, we say ABC company, right? So it's likewise, you can see it's connected. So you can see table 1, table 2, right? Then table 3, likewise, you can include, right? So all are collected and each are related each other, right? The next one, okay, we should identify these parts, right? So these parts, we have first the table, the main component or the of a database. So what is this tables means? So we can say a table is what? A collection of related records. The collection of, you can see if you take a table 1, you can see record number 1. Okay, record number 2, record number 3, record number 4, record number 5. Example, if you take your class, you can see student, we say AMB 901, AMB 902, AMB 903, AMB 904, AMB 905. So each person's or each one's record will have in a table. So it's a collection of records to the particular record of the student, maybe a student, maybe your marks. That particular marks one, those one are collected in a table. Okay, that is we call the table. Okay, right. The next one, what is the field? A field means a collection of what? A, a records. A record. We have collection of records is what? Make a field. Okay. So that one, right? So we can say one field. Say this field maybe we can say your name, then address, then the telephone number, then here may be your marks. So that particular record, what? It's a collection of what? A field. Okay. So look at this example, right? So you can see here. So you can see this example. You can see first field is what? We have admission number. Then we have the name. Then we have date of birth. We have gender. And we have telephone number. Then the second person, you can see admission number, right? Then the name, then the date of birth, then the gender, then we have the telephone number, right? Then we have the third person, we have admission number here, and name here, date of birth, that. So what do you do? We just take this one data into a table like this. So we will categorize or we just make fields as what? One is we have called admission number, another field we call name, another field we call date of birth, another field we make gender, and we another one has that. So in this particular table we have 5 fields, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there are 5 fields in this table and there are 3 records for particular table, right? So you can see first person, the first person 1426. So it's the Kavindu. So his the date of his birth is this, and he's a male, and this is his telephone number. Then if you take the record number 2, it is 1427 Meena Devi. So you can see it's birthday, then gender is female, and that's her birthday. Then the last third one we have 1428 Muhammad. So Muhammad one is this the birthday, then is male, and it has the student telephone number. So now this is a what? We can say this is a student table or the student information table, right? So student information table likewise we can see, right? Okay, right. Now we come to the next part. Okay, the main very main part, component of a table, right? Okay, any questions, children, up to here?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Okay, okay, I'll continue, right? Okay, right. So what are key constraints? Okay, so what is key constraint? What is the main thing? When you take a table, we have a primary key. So we can say a column or a combination of columns which enables to identify a record uniquely, we call a primary key, right? The two characteristics of primary key should be, you should consider, okay, it should be unique. That is a must. It cannot be duplicated. It cannot have other data. It should be uniform. Every field you have, it should be identified. Example, if you say index number, it should have a unique pattern, AMB 901, right? So if we just type 901, we don't know what's that. So if you put some letters, you know this is a belong to this branch, and this is a belong to a which grade, 9, like that. So it is a uniquely, we can say, okay, this is belong to this branch, and this student in this class, uniquely you can identify, right? So that should be unique. The second point is what? It should not be null. Not be null means what? You cannot start any records without an empty value in the what? Primary key field. So you cannot have that. Okay, it should not be null. So first one is what? You should be unique and it should be not null. Okay, right? Okay, look at these tables. Okay, okay, can you see? Can you all see the screen?
Yes, sir.
All right. Okay, now how do you identify this one? Okay, now if you are given a table, how do you identify what is this primary key here? Can you see the difference, or can you identify how they mention the primary key? You can see there are 4 tables now. You can see employee table, department table, product table, and branch table. Okay, so how do you know this field of this table is a primary key? How they indicates? Hmm? Okay, can you see, all of you, right? So you can see under this particular field, employee ID, it's underlined. So you can see either this one or this one doesn't have underline. Okay, so you can see from particular this table, we know this is a definitely this is the primary key. If you go to department table, you can see this is called department ID, department name, and the manager employee ID. So who's in manager in this one? So the department is D1 and department is IT department, and the manager number is 001. Then we have department number 2, and you can see it is HR division department, and he is also the manager 001, right? The next one you can see department number 3, it's the financial department, it is 002. Okay, so from this one, okay, can you tell me who's the manager of financial department? How do you find out? So you can find out here is what 002 here. So management department ID is this one. So then you have to relate it and go and find from the employee table where's this 002. So that is Mr. Nimal. So Mr. Nimal is the manager of financial department. Then if you take this one, manager employee ID 001. So you know that is what? He is Mr. Kasun and he is from which? Gold branch or the gold, right? So this one, now even here, the department 1, department 2. So you can see these department have different branches. Okay, so different branches. Here it says the department 1 in gold, department 1 in Colombo, and department 2 in gold, right? So likewise. In the product ID, we have the item code is what? Number 1 is called the water bottle. The next one we have the milk powder, right? So, right, so unique price is there, right? So that one you can see. Okay, so you can identify this primary key by when you see this underlined one, right? Right. Next one is the candidate key. So what is this candidate key? A relation schema may have more than one key. It means some fields, some tables, it may have more than one field, one primary key. In this case, each of the keys is called a candidate key. It is common to designate one of the candidate key as a primary key of the relation. Right? So you have to make it that. Okay, look at this one. Look at this table. Okay. Now you can see someone will say, look at the moment. Okay. Straight away you can see what's that. You can see it's underline. Underline here is what? Employee ID. Employee ID is highlighted, underline, and you can say it's a what? It's a one primary key. If you don't have this one, we have an alternative. Alternative means what? So the each employee, they have a separate telephone number, no? Right? So you cannot have duplicate number, no? So you cannot have duplicate telephone number. You have the telephone number also unique, no? So that is also unique. Then in the same way, you can see there's another field we have called what? The email. Okay. Now you know each person have a unique email. It cannot be given to another one. We say even we have two cousins here. He may have what? A different email than the first cousin here. Okay. So you can see here this email also unique, right? So but the main one you can see this what the primary key is employee ID is mainly unique, right? So unique and identify you can here, right? Then can we take employee name? No. Can you take location? No. You can see there are many primary keys in here this table. Employee ID and what telephone number as well as email. Right? Okay. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Primary key and candidate key different. So okay. So yeah, understand how you identify the primary key. How understand how to identify if there are two primary keys or we call candidate keys from these examples. Okay, get a clear picture, right? So then you can easily identify each tables easily. Okay, we go to the next one. Foreign key. Foreign key where we need. So we want to relate to that one. We want to find out. Okay, we have marks in another table. We have student in another table. From the marks, we can link to the student table and find out who has the highest mark on the index number like that. Okay, so it is used to establish a link between data in two tables. So it is we are connecting and we just join and find out the answer like that. And so let's see this one. Okay, look at this example. Right. So foreign key. Okay, now we can see in here what is the primary key. It is department ID. You can say department table that. So you can say D1, D2, D3, department number, name is IT, HR and financial. Then the manager's number is 001 that. Right? So you can say this is unique. That is the unique one. Then the department table, okay, this is the what? For the branch one department here branch table, it is also what? This is a primary key. But this become a foreign key for this table. Right? Department ID. Now department ID, foreign key is a branch for table. Now, so if someone want to find, okay, where's this IT, the manager is belongs to. So where can I find out? On department. Now we say this manager 001 is belong to which branch I want to find out. So from that one I just refer D1. So where's D1 refers? It's in the department. So in department we can know he is belong to gold. Okay, right. Then here we have D3 or the D2 here. So D to department. So department we have to refer. So from that one we can find out where are these branches. So that's the what? The foreign key. Right. Okay, what are the things you should point it out? Okay, so these are very special points. So please highlight these, okay, in this your book also and take it into consider. Okay, if you take this one, key constraints. So what are the key constraints of that one? Special attributes of primary key, what we have discussed, should not be empty. As I discuss here, data is being mandatory. No duplicate value, right? So it cannot be duplicate. Okay. So it cannot have not have any duplicate value for that one. Then if you see the foreign key features, okay, special features, what it is we are built into what? To build a connection between two tables. That is the main purpose of that. Then the related data of the primary key field exists in another table. You have seen now earlier one. You can see department IDs exist in the department in the branch table, right? Right. The next one, the related data of a primary key field exists in another table. Then the foreign key is one of the table in a primary key of another table. It might be a primary key, but it might be the what? The duplicate or the foreign key for the particular table, right? Right. So what we can do from these softwares, okay, relational database management systems. So what is the definition? Okay, if you want, you can take down this one. Okay, it's called the generalized software package that manage database activities like what? Creation, modification, deletion, and selection that based on the relational model. Okay, so that's the RDBMS or the RDBMS Relational Database Management System. Okay, if you want, you can take down, right? So that's the general definition. Okay, so Relational Database Management System, right? Then, so what are these database softwares we have? We have discussed also some of them here. We have open source and commercial, or we call proprietary. So open source we have called MySQL, and we have the commercial one also, right? Commercial also there. We have Oracle, then the Microsoft Access, then likewise we have the software, right? So if you take MySQL, so it's one of the open source one. So support many different platforms. So Microsoft SQL, MySQL comes with very fast and multi-threading and multi-use and robust SQL database. So that's why the people are using MySQL rather than MS Access. So it has more features, okay, and it is free, so you can download freely. So if we take SQL called structured query language, right? Right, which is a computer language for storing, manipulating, and retrieving data stored in a relational database. SQL is the standard language for relational database system. Okay, so if you just take this SQL, so we have what? Data definition language, DDL. We can create order drop. So those are the commands we are using. So we have DML, data manipulation languages. We have insert, update, delete. Likewise, in a TCL, transaction control language, we have commit, in a rollback, or the save point. Those are the commands we are using in SQL. Then we have DCL, data control languages. We have what? Granting or the revoke using SQL, right? So data DQL, we call it data query language, is to select. So select a particular record, a particular fields, or for particular tables from a SQL database, right? So let's see how to do. So we have the database in this one. Okay. So we have, okay, right. So database. So we can change it to this database. We have to successful, right? Like that. So here we can say the drop database DB name. Then we can remove. Drop means you erase the database, removing the database. So if this database is removed now, so we have these database types here. So this one, okay, and so this one there, right? So we will just next day we will start with the a new session. Okay, okay. Any questions, children?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Everyone clear? Okay, then I will stop for now today. Okay, Buddha. Thank you for joining. Okay.